news this week from people who are into marketing design, those sort of things. Adobe agents are coming into the Adobe suite. Um, First little announcement. I know we've talked about this before, but we have Rob Cooper talking about AI SEO next week. So, how to AI SEO your website, or AIO as it's coming to be known.
Mhm.
Um, and Rob will talk about what you need to think about when it comes to AI searching your site. There's a little bit of nuance to how AI likes to receive information. A lot of it is back end, and then also things like video and images are much more important. So YouTube and Pinterest are even more important than ever. And that's going to be our Wednesday session next week. And Adobe agents are coming. We have a link to their website. You can see some of the demos. But it's going to allow you to, in the way that we have with ChatGPT, you can ask for images, but with Adobe, you'll be able to get images that are layered and you can edit all the elements in them. And Adobe is, as we know, is kind of the gold standard for design. So that they've had AI abilities for the last couple of years, but agents is kind of the next step, and they're going to be putting agents into all of their products that will help you do the heavy lifting so that hopefully you don't have to do all of the tedious work in there and you can just apply your design magic to it. Andrea is most excited about AI agents in Adobe. And we've got a bit about the former Facebook exec that's testifying on national security and national security concerns. She wrote a book called Careless People, and it hit Amazon's top 10, and Meta has been trying to discredit her. And so this is an evolving story that we're keeping an eye on. Um, but it is interesting to kind of get an inside perspective, whether it's accurate or not, to get inside perspective on what's happening with Meta and um, you know, the considerations about AI regulation being key to national security. This is a very deep topic with a lot of different opinions. And she's accusing the company of undermining US safety by collaborating with China on AI development. And I know there's been safety concerns with Russia and its ability to influence on Meta. So this is more to that story.
I'm reading the book and it's a fascinating read so far. It really is a behind the scenes, whether it's true or not, I'm taking it with a grain of salt, but it does, there's something in the middle, right?
Yeah. Do keep us posted. Let us know if there's if there's any nuggets. Is there anything currently that has stood out that you want to share?
I'm trying to think, but I mean, the salacious part of it, right, is the inner workings of how the internal employees all communicated to each other, and how surprised I was that they weren't equipped with a policy expert earlier on. And kind of the brashness in which allegedly he had felt about what he felt was right and censoring content and how that probably did affect people's experience in those different countries like Myanmar and some other things. So that to me is just like the fact that, you know, a company had such an influence and sometimes not an influence in these governments without the US getting involved until later on.
Yeah. Well, and in Canada, they made it illegal. I don't know, it's been at least a year, maybe two. You can't view news on social media. I
I
can,
did not know that. That is really interesting.
yeah. And so, like you said, you know, that if you can view news on there, you can sure have a lot of fake news and it can influence people. If you can't view any kind of news, then it takes away that ability to influence as much. Um, and I can't even post, like, because we do blog posts and I would put them on my Facebook page all the time, but I can't post it from Canada. I can't post a blog post. I can't read other people's news posts from Canada. And there's some of the things about the US, um, about the trade tariffs and all of that that I want to read about, but I can't do it through social, even if my friends are sharing and talking about it. At least not when I'm in Canada.
Okay, well, there's lots for me more to learn on this subject. I did not know that.
Yeah. And Zoom has been having problems today and has been going out. So if we disappear, we will come back as soon as we can. But Zoom has been having global outages. Um, and Google has been adopting Anthropic's model context protocol. Now, Anthropic has Claude, and Claude is known to be the most safe LLM, or Anthropic is the most, they pay attention to safety. And so it's interesting that Google is adopting their protocol. And so Google's playing on the more safe side of things. Um, and so we'll see how it affects the communications. Like on here, it says it's simplifying two-way communications between data sources and AI, which is, game changing for app developers and business tooling. And Anthropic is, their position is they're the most ethical out there. And if you try to upload customer data to play with it, whether you're doing some research or anything, it doesn't let you do that. It says that that information is considered private. So they're the most conservative when it comes to that. Um, and I would recommend to everybody on here that you read the full AI 2027 article. I found it really interesting. Some of it I would some of it I agree with, some of it I don't, but I think it's a really interesting thought piece on what does AI in 2027 look like. And it's some of the key things that it's saying in there that AI will soon outpace the best researchers, consultants, and even governments. And it goes into depth a bit more about that. For researchers and consultants, we can see that already. We can see how much it helps us. One of our clients would typically go to Deloitte or McKinsey and have